All right, today we are diving deep into a really fascinating family therapy case study. We're going to see how a family, right on the brink of a total crisis, actually found a way to heal. And they did it by shifting their focus from the one problem person to the entire family system. It's a powerful story. So get this. The whole story kicks off with this incredibly jarring demand from a man we're going to call Pastor Mike. He didn't walk into therapy asking for help. He walked in and gave an order. You can just feel the pressure and the fear right from the get-go. The stakes were clearly sky high. Now, what's so interesting here is that Pastor Mike was convinced his daughter was the problem that needed to be fixed. But the therapist, well, they realized pretty quickly that the real issue wasn't Tammy at all. The therapy had to focus on her father's overwhelming fear and what that fear was doing to the entire family. Okay, so this brings us to a really crucial psychological idea called projective identification. And it's way more than just blaming someone. It's this deep, totally unconscious dynamic. Basically, one person takes a part of themselves they just can't accept, what Carl Jung would call their shadow, and they project it onto someone else. And then that other person starts to unconsciously live out that projection. It's wild. So how does this invisible blame game actually work? Well, it breaks down into 3 steps. First up, projection. Pastor Mike completely disowns an uncomfortable part of himself, in this situation, his own sexuality. Second, reception. Tammy, without even realizing it, picks up on this. And third, identification. She actually starts to identify with that projection, acting out the very behaviors her father is so terrified of. And I love this part. The source material gives us this peek behind the curtain, into the therapist's own mind. It talks about an inner voice of clinical intuition. And right from the very beginning, that inner voice was asking a really critical question. Was Pastor Mike's obsession with his daughter's sexuality actually just a reflection of his own repressed feelings? So as their beast started, Tammy did begin to change, but definitely not in the way her father wanted. And this just shows the shift so perfectly. On one side, you have the good daughter she used to be. Great grades, helping in the community, always following the rules. But then the trickster daughter emerged. We're talking the full emo fashion, black nail polish, blasting disruptive music. It was a rebellion you could literally see. Tammy didn't really have the words to express all her pain, but her music sure did. In one of the therapy sessions, she played a song with the lyric, "Well, if you wanted honesty, that's all you had to say. I'm not okay." It was her way of screaming a truth that the entire family was desperately trying to ignore. You see, this whole transformation wasn't just some random teenage rebellion. No. From a psychological view, Tammy was actually embodying the trickster archetype. The trickster is the super powerful, disruptive force that blows things up, creates chaos, but it's chaos with a purpose. The whole point is to shatter a system that's too rigid and force hidden truths out into the open. And this process, it maps perfectly onto a model for family change from a therapist named Virginia Sutter. The family started in this unhealthy status quo. Tammy getting older was the new element that threw everything off balance, which led to chaos. That's the trickster emerging. But that chaos forced integration, where they had to finally deal with the real issues, which ultimately led to a new, much healthier status quo. Her rebellion wasn't the problem. It was actually a necessary step towards healing. And that reframes the entire situation, doesn't it? The therapy wasn't about a problem child anymore. The big question became, is Tammy the problem, or is she actually just the symptom of a sickness in the whole family system? This realization changed absolutely everything. The goal was no longer to fix Tammy. The true goal, the real work, was to heal the entire family system. So what did that path to healing actually look like? Well, it came down to 3 key things. First, they had to address the unspoken tension in the parents' own marriage. Second, they had to stop using their daughter as a go-between for their own conflicts. And finally, they had to help each person in the family grow as an individual. And so here we are, full circle. We see the family again, but now we're looking at them through a completely different lens. Their journey took them from pointing the finger at one person to understanding that they were all part of a single system that desperately needed to find a new, healthier way to be together. You know, this case study is so much more than just a story. It's kind of a mirror that shows us how these hidden dynamics can play out in our own lives. And it really leaves us with a powerful question to think about.